This is certainly true for everybody. When I say that we have all delved into various different kinds of topics when it comes to the concept of kid shows, whether it be Hey Arnold, SpongeBob SquarePants, My Life as a Teenage Robot, or many other kinds of popular shows and Nicktoons out there in the world today, ranging from either Nickelodeon to Cartoon Network, we all can certainly agree in one way or another that there are many things within that series that's either extremely weird, dark, or maybe even a conspiracy. Now, we have covered many different kinds of topics regarding cartoons, cartoon creepypastas, cartoon lost episodes, and even cartoon theories. However, though, there's this one show in and of its own self that's managed to hide this specific conspiracy so very well that nobody, not even the most popular YouTubers out there, have seemed to finally manage to get it. Nobody really knows because nobody was looking hard enough. Now, what does this have to do with the Backyardigans? Well, to be completely frank, this has very little to do with actually them, but with their windows. Now, you might be scratching your head at this point wondering, okay, it's a window. What exactly about it? Well, from what rumor has honestly been shown to me, thanks to a couple of Spanish-speaking YouTubers, there's apparently something within the windows of each of the houses of the Backyardigans that are rather disturbing, to say the least. I myself have actually managed to take a considerable look at some of the evidence that was put in there, and even doing my own research, and what I found, people, was very, very, very disturbing. In more ways than you would think. Now, you guys should have already known that I made a little thing on my community tab talking about, how there was some freaky looking thing in Pablo's window. But when you actually take a considerable look at what it really is, like really focus yourself and take a look at what it is. What do you see? Likely chances you're not going to get it at first, but if you look close enough, you'll actually see a white outline of a body, specifically an emaciated body looking right at you as you're watching the show. Yeah, creepy, isn't it? Well, a little something, that's not all that there is. There's a lot more to this entire thing than you would think. And let me tell you right here and right now, it's pretty damn freaky, so viewer discretion is definitely advised for this video. And if you don't want to have your childhood completely torn apart and ripped to shreds, I would recommend clicking off this video now, because I can guarantee you it's only going to get worse from now. So with that being said, let's move on to the next picture. Okay, as you guys can see right here, it's a pretty regular old looking house, am I right? Now, I want you to take a considerable look at all three of those windows. Let me ask you something. What exactly do you see? And before you automatically say that, oh, there's nothing, or it's just a reflection. Well, here's the biggest issue with that concept. If the windows in and of their own selves were solely reflections, then why are they all ultimately the same? But more importantly, if they were reflecting something, why isn't the bottom window reflecting Pablo, Uniqua, and Austin's heads, or their faces, or whatever? But of course, that's obviously not the case here. Take a considerable look. If you want to zoom in on the picture, go right on ahead. But really take a considerable look, and what do you see in each one of those windows? You see what looks to be a fetus. I'm not joking here, people, when I say this. That is the outline of a curled up fetus. Literally looking at you in ways you would have not guessed. It's very difficult to make out, but if you really look at it and you outline it in one way or another, it looks exactly like a fucking fetus, people. That's precisely what that entire thing is. It's not any of the characters, because take a look at the way that the thing is positioned. Take a considerable look at the way that that little thing in the middle, I will make sure to have a big old red circle pointing to it. Take a considerable look. That is not what any of the characters look like. Not in the slightest. That entire thing is completely and utterly in a different position, in a different kind of way. Tell me that isn't extremely fucked up in more ways than you would think. And to make matters even worse, it's in every single window on there. It's in every single window that you can see. All three of them. Maybe even more. Perhaps. But yeah, that right there is already a bit of evidence enough to show that somehow someone apparently must have had a sick mind in the production team of the Backyardigans and decided to put in some crazy looking shit in the windows. I don't know what in the world they were trying to tell, but I can guarantee you it was pretty messed up. But like I said, it's only going to get worse. Let's move on to the next picture. Now, I will admit that this one was a little bit harder to actually manage to get. And of course, you really have to look hard enough in order to see it. But take a look at all three of these houses, especially the one in the back. Look at the top part of the window here. What exactly do you see? Do you see anything? Oftentimes, some people would sit there and say, no, it just doesn't look like much of anything. Now, I want you to imagine a face looking at you, and that right there could most likely be a face staring down at you in one way or another. That, or it may just be a simple aspect of curtains or something along those lines. Here, it doesn't exactly seem to be too much, but it's definitely there. I know that for a full-on fact. Pablo's house, however, if anything, it looks really weird, but I can't seem to find any remote bodies or things like that. But look at the back here. Look at this separate house. Look at this entire yellow house in the back. Take a considerable look at the window on your right side, top right side. What the fuck is that thing? Like, quite literally, what is that? That looks like something out of a freaking horror movie that I'm looking at right now. I'm not joking. I mean, there's something obviously standing over that bed, or standing over something, because that's exactly what it looks like to me. I mean, come on. Seriously, take a look. I'll have that giant red circle right there for you guys to take a look at, but there's obviously something wrong here. I mean, what in the world is in these windows? Why in the world would Nick Jr. or whatever put these kind of things inside of a freaking window? What are they trying to determine? What are they trying to tell us here, people? Anyway, enough with that. Let's move on to the next picture. I've got at least a few more of these before I end this video, so be ready, people. Well, unfortunately for me, you guys, the pictures that I had somehow managed to become corrupted, so I was not able to use it. But there is this one picture that did manage to get saved, if you want to put it that way. And this is Pablo's house. This is pretty much going to be the last one right here. So, like with all the other houses that you've taken a look at here, there's obviously something relatively odd about the windows. Now, if you take a look at the bottom two of these windows, it doesn't really seem to look like very much. However, if you actually take a bit of a look here, specifically in the bottom corner of the window, there's not really that much of a reflection going on with the the tables, the chairs, and the umbrella. There's something else that looks like something. I guess like maybe a small house or something along those lines, perhaps? I don't know. Now, take a look at the top part of the windows here. If you actually look into it, you can see a face. Yeah, a face. It's really difficult to make out, like with all the other ones, because, I mean, Nick Jr. wanted to freaking hide as much as they fucking could. So, I mean, of course they're going to make it hard for us to see this kind of thing. But, I mean, take a considerable look, though. What do you see? It may not really look like much. It may even seem to be like some kind of frost or something along those lines. But if you actually take a considerable look, you can see a face. You can see a face somewhere in it. That, or it looks like a fan. I don't know for a full-on fact. But just to let you guys know, though, Obviously, this is probably some kind of crazy conspiracy theory. I could be wrong about this entire thing, to be completely honest with you. But for some reason, ever since I saw that picture of that weird looking figure inside one of the windows, I needed to do my own investigation with this kind of thing, people. I mean, it was only natural. I mean, but even on this matter, even if for some reason there is nothing else there, you can't sit there and tell me that there wasn't something in some of the windows in certain episodes. Now, I could easily go and look at every single episode to determine whether or not there are faces there or not, but then again, we don't really know for a full-on fact. There could be episodes with the faces, there could be episodes with bodies in it, there could be episodes that are literally all over the fucking place, people. Literally sitting there and showing us a bunch of weird stuff, and we never even knew it. These windows have something going for them. These windows ultimately help reflect what in the world was going on with the minds of the creators. Nobody really knows for a full-on fact, and that's certainly true. I can certainly say that. Unfortunately, though, I guess more along the lines of the fact that we may never really know entirely what was in the minds of the creators when they made this. Maybe it could have been an animation mistake. Maybe it could have just been a random used up texture that they wanted to use. But one thing is for certain. There is something devious regarding these windows. And if you don't believe me, which I'm not asking you all to believe me, I'm asking you to do your own research. Go out and look at the pictures. Go out and do editing, whatever you need to do. Outline and take a considerable look for your own self. Don't take my word for it. Go do your own research. Take a look at the houses, rewatch the episodes, and every time the houses show up, take a look at the windows. I can guarantee you all one thing right here and right now, that those windows have something. It's either going to be a freaky little face, or it's going to be a distorted looking thing, or if you're really lucky, you might even find a dead body. Completely overshadowed with a bunch of layers, but still there, to the point where you will finally be able to see it. It's a horrifying concept. It's not fun, it's not easy, and honestly, I'm quite sure I ruined a majority of your childhoods at this point, but it has to be said. So, I guess that's really all I have to say now regarding this entire thing. I want to thank you guys again for watching today's episode. I know this isn't like my usual Creepypasta episodes or things like that, but if anything, after really seeing this, I had to make a video on this. I had to, people. This was too much of an interesting concept that could not be ignored. And if anything, I hope that I honestly open up a lot more, a lot more people and bigger YouTubers to take a considerable look at this theory itself. If anything, it may be interesting. And if anybody wants to use this video as like a reference or something, I give you full permission, with the sole exception, however, that you give me permission, that you give me credit in your either in your video or in the description or at the end screen of whatever video that you have. I give full permission for people to use it. I don't care if it's monetized either. Feel free to use it. The only thing I ask is that you credit me. That's all I ask. But still, when it comes to theories like these, it really should make us all wonder to ourselves, if Nick Jr. and Nickelodeon managed to hide that very, very, very well, then what else are they hiding from us?